Welcome back to General Warfield's Coffee. You've grown your coffee plants and picked your ripe cherries. Now it's time to process those beans for the perfect cup of homegrown coffee. Processing coffee cherries is a make or break step in unlocking the rich, complex flavors we all love. Today, we'll guide you through several methods for processing coffee at home with clear, detailed steps and equipment suggestions to make it easy for you. Section 1. The dry method. The dry method, also known as the natural process, is one of the oldest ways to process coffee. Here's how to do it at home. Step 1. Spread your freshly picked cherries in a single layer on a drying rack or a clean surface, such as a mesh drying rack or a screen, in a sunny spot. Good airflow is essential to prevent mold, so be sure the cherries are well ventilated. Step 2. Turn the cherries regularly, at least once a day, to ensure even drying. Depending on your climate, this can take 2 to 4 weeks. The cherries should feel papery and the beans should rattle inside the dried fruit when they're ready. Step 3. Once the cherries are dry, you'll need to remove the dried pulp. You can do this by hand or with a simple hand-cranked hulling machine, which you can find online. If using the manual method, break the dry husks apart and carefully extract the beans. This method gives your coffee a sweet, fruity flavor but requires patience and regular attention to detail. Section 2. The wet method. If you prefer a cleaner, brighter flavor profile, the wet method is a great choice. Here's how to do it, step by step. Step 1. Soak your cherries in a bucket of water. The unripe or poor quality cherries will float and the ripe cherries will sink. Discard the floaters and keep the sinkers. Step 2. To remove the outer pulp, you can use a hand-cranked depulper for efficiency. If you don't have one, use a large wooden or metal spoon to crush the cherries in a large bowl gently. This breaks the skin and separates the beans from the pulp. Rinse the beans thoroughly to remove as much pulp as possible. Step 3. Ferment the beans in a clean, food-safe bucket of water for 12 to 48 hours, depending on the temperature. Stir occasionally and check the beans regularly. The mucilage or sticky layer will start to break down and become easier to wash off. Step 4. Once fermentation is complete, rinse the beans thoroughly to remove any remaining mucilage. Spread the clean beans out to dry on a mesh rack or screen, turning them regularly to ensure even drying. This can take up to 2 weeks depending on the humidity and temperature. This method requires more water and equipment, but results in a bright, clean-tasting coffee. The honey process is a hybrid method that offers a sweet, complex flavor. Here's how to do it at home. First, remove the outer skin of the cherries, just like in the wet method, but leave some of the sticky mucilage on the beans. The more mucilage left, the sweeter and more syrupy the final flavor will be. Next, spread the pulped beans out to dry, just as you would for the other methods. The amount of mucilage left will determine whether your beans are classified as yellow, red, or black honey. Turn the beans regularly and monitor the drying process to avoid mold or uneven drying. This drying process can take 1 to 3 weeks, depending on how much mucilage remains and your local climate. The honey process strikes a perfect balance, giving your coffee a rich, sweet flavor with a pleasant acidity. No matter which method you use, once your beans are fully dried, it's time to store them. Place the beans in a cool, dry place in airtight containers or burlap bags to maintain freshness. Proper storage will help preserve the flavor and quality of your beans until you're ready to roast. And that's how you process your homegrown coffee beans. In our next video, we'll dive into the art of roasting and share tips on achieving the perfect roast profile for your beans. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and visit us at generalwarfieldscoffee.com for more tips, specialty grade coffee, and exclusive offers. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more in our coffee growing series.